it would have
Yeah.
been AC.
AC. There's a lot there.
Wait a second.
That's the school year?
That's not right.
No, there's
Go to
there
the
is the AC file next to
folder.
it. Yeah.
Go to AC,
Oh.
and then in the AC, there should be an
Hard
assessment
as
folder.
rocks.
Oh, maybe lesson AC.
Well, I'll go in the assessments.
Yeah,
right?
look at
Oh,
the
yeah.
assessments.
And it would have probably been.
We only have 4 units.
3 then.
Yeah, I would think.
So we'll have all the questions too. So let's just see if we're in the right area.
Go to the
Sorry.
system there. There's that one.
Did we do a lot of proportion?
There it is, the hot dogs. Hot dogs and soda.
It's a pretty straightforward problem.
They all have it.
Except, it was the money spent on
That was
sodas
it.
that was the problem, because they all talked about the hot dogs.
Yeah.
Because
They find-
it's naturally you'll solve for the hot dogs first.
Mm.
That's where they get messed up, which is good, I think.
Having those let statements clear and looking back to see.
All right. Do you want me to? I'll copy this one over, just
Yeah.
so we have our bank.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have closed that other thing.
Could get you guys updated with your mug shots on these little
I
circles up
know.
there. I did that today, take some selfies.
I don't know how to get my name up there or my picture up there.
I don't either.
You go up to your calendar if you want.
What's that? Can?
Yeah, we can do it later if you want.
Yeah. We give these to our time.
Just as Paul walks in. Oh, that's not good.
I just love your smile. Smile. No, smile. Don't look like you're in pain.
Oh, this is good. Let's get rid of this. This is all last.
That's a copy, right?
Yeah, it's a copy. That's why I was. All right. So.
What else is there from that? Below that one? Oh, there's the, that's a doozy for them,
Oh,
on the
This
same
was
one.
not, and maybe that's coming up later.
That could be like reoccurring systems, yeah, I agree, because they haven't seen a lot of negative movement for a while.
Do you want me to put this somewhere else, or just keep it here?
It was such a great problem. It was challenging.
It was very challenging.
But maybe we could also play around with the wording and have it come back during one of the next units.
Yeah. All right, so that was the summative.
Do
you want me to-
Can you put it on there, unit 4, because it, again, I feel like we have these ideas that maybe one question would be more tailored to the higher kids or something, you know, because we had that in our last one where we expected them to get part of the question, but not the whole question. I don't know, just put it there in
I'll
case.
put it here, and then, oh, the picture came with it too. Awesome, okay. And then,
Then go back to that one, that folder.
yeah,
That's,
I gotta go back.
no, just go back, oh, no,
Go back to this.
it's formative with like, appointment injection system.
So was it, oh yeah, assessments first of all. It was unit 3?
Remember last year we had the Chinese New Year, so, and then some of the kids used the ancient Chinese method for
Yeah.
Oh,
elimination
that's
to
right.
see. It works so perfectly within that test. There's one right there, your cursor's on it, looks like a system right away.
Okay. Do you want me to just start here first of all and just
Oh,
work
there's-
our way across?
There's 2 formatives of the system on here. We would have done that.
I don't know if you have different versions or.
I was making second versions last year.
Oh, my computer's
Oh,
really
right.
slow.
very straightforward.
Yeah.
But we wanted to use,
We have that, and we also want them to
I would
summarize their
love-
solution, like as a point of intersection is what we're looking for.
Cause you know, we're gonna have to have another formative. And maybe that would be a good formative, solving it using the different strategies. And then maybe one word problem situation.
Yeah.
what about this one
I
here?
don't remember that one
I
last
don't
year.
either.
I remember it.
This must have
But
been
this
your
is a
version.
different, yeah, there's a different version.
Well, version 3, who did version 3? This is version 3.
This
Oh.
is probably Jason.
Okay.
This one's still not opening, so let's try it again. So that. No, it's not working.
Do you want me to look it up?
Well, what are we looking for now? We're looking for, we got a couple word problems to play with. We probably didn't do a lot of writing equations last year on assessments, so we want to find
Yeah.
that. I mean, we're going to be able to look at their ability to do that within the systems problems we have anyway.
Okay, so formative,
Why do we have all these unit 3 summative things? So let's do this formative 5.
this one says Anita is collecting $2 and $5 coins. So far Anita has collected $73 worth of money. The number of $2 coins is 5 more than the number of $5 coins. How many of each type of coin has Anita collected? That might be a great formative problem for the next day, 5 or 6.
Yeah, because we did something similar with the.
Are you guys going to do a
This-
formative tomorrow? Are you going to do a formative tomorrow?
No, I'm gonna do a formative this week.
Yeah,
At some
tomorrow.
point.
I think we only see the, oh yeah, we see them tomorrow, Thursday, Friday.
And I only see mine Wednesday and then once on Thursday or Friday.
And then you see them twice. You see them Monday, Tuesday next week.
So, okay, so y'all want me to copy and paste this into
Yeah.
the,
They've seen
what
coin
document
problems.
have you?
I've made if you go to CCA Unit 4, I've made a document in there.
Is it there, or did you just copy it?
I copied it and put it
I put it
in
in
there. Well, it should be in this.
I only see,
Okay, I didn't put that.
We need to find. The rest we can probably just sort of make up in
right?
terms of our problems.
No,
Well,
it's there.
what are, we say types of questions,
It's there.
but what are the big, the questions that were being asked? What does my solution represent?
Yeah,
When are they the same?
yeah, and when is my answer reasonable?
And whether my answer is reasonable.
Yeah,
Okay, so we've covered when are they the same and what does my solution mean if we are careful with how we word or what questions we're asking.
yeah, and Alfonso and Jones' question really challenged them, is my answer reasonable? Because they'll naturally maybe solve for hot dogs rather than sodas first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that might challenge their reason, my answer reasonable. That'll be challenged in the point of intersection question as well.
Okay. So you feel like we've hit those 3 guiding questions for the unit? With
Well,
what
I
we
think that-
brainstorm with types of
Yeah, I like the
questions.
parallel coinciding lines too, because that will challenge some. Is my answer reasonable, or what does my solution represent?
Yeah.
You know, because that's when things get split.
And reinforces the when are they the same,
Right.
which they're not, or they are all the time.
Yeah.
Then, but I'll,
Okay, I'm
So
gonna-
what are you thinking? 2 word problems and
the only
two-
thing that we're
two
not.
point of intersection problems?
The only thing that we're not doing, but this is something we can do later, because they're still kind of getting comfortable with it, is when to use which, strategy.
And it might be worth having them comment on that, even
This
for a couple
is-
sentences, not a
This
whole
is
lot,
the
but.
formative Anita question, says look at the system of equations you came up with. In your opinion, which method would be the best to solve?
Yeah.
So that could be in a formative, we could at least expose them to that and then we can
Yeah.
see which ones we decide
It's
on.
like
whether
That
we
could be
wanna
last
something
incorporate
later
that.
on, because they're still just pretty new at everything, so there might not
Yeah.
be there yet.
And it might be nice on formative to push them to think in that way, but
Yeah.
it's a chance for them to get comfortable with
Well,
it.
it's like grading their thinking bit, right?
Right.
But then it's tough to grade that on a summative too, isn't it? Like,
Right, it is hard on a
have they been
summative.
able to explain their thinking even if they thought it? Yeah. So formative, yeah, I like that.
Okay, so I'll put formative above this one.
Okay. This one's a later
Yeah.
summative.
So we're really looking at the hot dog question, but maybe changing up the numbers and stuff, or,
Yeah, and then, where did you get
and
that?
I do want us to have two versions. So maybe one can be hot dogs and one can be hamburgers and whatever, and we change up the numbers.
Change numbers around,
Yeah, or using, where was that Big Mac one that I had?
There.
Yeah,
Formative.
that's the same as Anita's question.
The coins, right?
Yeah, that was the same as the coin question, I just adjusted it.
Okay. And that's what you're gonna use, we're thinking for the formative, right?
Yeah,
Well, we don't need two versions
We
of the
don't need
formative.
two versions of the form.
So we could keep that one and put that one in summative. Or is it too much, just the same as
It's very similar, but I think.
similar style where you have a quantity and an amount, like there, you could put it, we could put one about the triangle, like the sides of a square triangle, that pushes them a bit more for writing their equations. You know, like,
say that one more time.
you know, that there's, you know, we're talking about a rectangle and one side is twice more than 3 times the other, or whatever, and then the total perimeter. So that really pushes, that's a different style of word problem, but it pushes their writing equations. They've seen a couple of them, but,
They have,
you know,
but
not
it's good.
tons.
That's
But,
what I like those, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like, they could come up with why, but if they really understand about creating equations,
yeah.
then they can, the only thing with that is they might come up with one equation to
That-
represent the whole thing.
That's what my
And you
question
just
was
gotta
going
be
to be.
prepared for
Well,
that.
in our
Do
language,
we
we
want them
say,
to say create a system? Are
Create
we
it.
gonna force them to, or do we?
I think if the whole point is for them to, like, if we want one to focus on creating an equation, like algebratizing basically, then I don't think it matters whether they
Create one or two.
create a systems or they just create one equation.
But
As
I-
long as somehow
they
in the
justify-
assessment, we're having them prove that they can solve a
right,
system.
right.
but I do want them to be able to know that all they've done is substituted by
Totally.
accident, right? If they don't know that, then I'm worried about their thinking there. Like, if they
Right.
just said, I'm just gonna make it 1 because but then you're like, well, why make it, why ever make 2? You can always just substitute, right? Like, you can always just make one equation
Work
from
through that
every word
process.
problem. But they've done it there by accident or on purpose, I don't know.
Mhm.
I know that that's an easier one to do it on, but you can challenge them and say, why do we ever make 2? Because you can always just substitute. Some are easy to do in your mind, some are not.
But in some situations, there's two very different situations happening.
Yeah.
And so it's harder
Yeah,
to
it's not
create
something
one.
to do naturally.
But when you're talking about the perimeter,
It's always in relation to
One.
one another.
yeah, that it's much easier to do that. So if we go with that route, I think we have to say that. Like, it doesn't
But
matter.
wouldn't you want them to know that I would say you'd want them to know that they've substituted accidentally or on purpose,
But
you know?
yeah.
Like, because we're learning substitution, and that's
Right.
essentially just what they did. You can say, give me 2, or, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, it's like in class when they think they're doing one thing, and you're like, you realize that you're doing exactly what we're doing, but you're using a shortcut, and then
Yeah.
they have that oh moment. You do want them to have that understanding of, this isn't any different than what you're doing, I'm just skipping ahead one step
Yeah.
in my mind. It's
Yeah.
not on my paper.
and,
Yeah,
yeah, I
that
would
is
be
important.
fine if they make one equation, but I want them to, the level that they speak about that one equation will determine, I think,
But
really
if
the
would
level
you
of
give them an
justification.
AE for not being able to explain, like, if you
It
say set
depends
up a
on
systems
what-
of equations?
Well,
What
I
the
would say if
question
they're
is
not, if they
asking.
don't know what they're doing, then they probably need that AE, you know?
Because if it's like that perimeter problem, then it seems strange, because you have perimeter equals
Yeah.
this, and then you have perimeter equals 50 centimeters, so the other one doesn't seem like an equation.
Yeah.
But I agree, if they know that, there's a high level of understanding.
Well, one would be, W equals 2L, and then the other one would be 2L plus 2W equals perimeter. you know, so W equals 2L, they've seen, I mean, it's not like, it's